Now, according to the opposition PDP, it's one of this country's biggest state government-led investment tricks, a deception that they say is aimed at helping the Edo State Governor Monday Ogboro prop up his ailing administration. It all centers around a statement issued by the Edo State government recently that it had signed a deal with the European African Chamber of Commerce and Industries, or Euro-Africa CCI, to invest some $250 million in the state. The deal was reported to have been signed during the 2025 Edo State Global Investment Summit, which took place in Glasgow, Scotland recently. But the PDP says it's combed through information not just about the purported deal, but about the deal maker, Euro-Africa CCI. And it says that what it found was pure wreckage designed to fool the public. Take a listen to the organizing secretary of the PDP in Edo State, Obede Ifaluyi Isibo, a former Edo State Commissioner for Digital Economy, Science and Technology, speaking on this program on Friday.
There was really no $250 million investment deal. The governor and his aides actually went to Scotland for a vacation. And just in an attempt to impress the Edo people, they came up with that idea of let's make up something that looks like we went to actually work. I can tell you, matter of factly, that the government may not even have been aware of such a deal. Upon getting to Nigeria and getting to see how the Edo people had criticized his frivolous trips, then 2 or 3 days later, they came up with such an investment deal. And trust the Edo people, trust the smart people. They went to investigate. They realized that there was really no such deal.
How do you mean they went? Who went to investigate?
I mean, Edo people generally.
Yeah, but did the PDP investigate?
Oh, yes, we did. And we had independent Edo people go ahead to do their own investigations. I mean, it doesn't cost nothing to check how long a website has been created.
Yeah, but if somebody says they checked,
yes,
and comes up with their own assessment based on whatever colorations they have, you're the constituted opposition. Yes. Did you check?
Absolutely, we did.
Right. Okay.
As a political party, we did, and as individuals, we did.
Right.
We called the number on the website of the so-called organization, and one lady from Ibadan or somewhere in the southwest was speaking to us. Is that an organization who has a capacity to give $250 million in investment? What were the terms and conditions? And it would amaze you that it's been several days after, not a comment has been made by the governor or his aides.
Well, that was Mr. Isibo on this program on Friday. Well, the Edo State government requested a rebuttal, and of course we granted it. And so for that right of reply, I'm joined now in the studio by the pioneer Director General of the Edo State Diaspora Agency, Dr. Loretta Ogboro-Okor, who organized that Edo State Investment Summit in Scotland. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, Charles, and good evening.
What's your reaction to the central allegation made by the PDP's Obede Ifaluyi Isibo in that interview that the $250 million investment deal, which the Edo State government claimed Governor Ogboro signed with Euro-Africa CCI, is at best bogus and at worst a fabrication?
Thank you. In the first place, I think I must commend Arise for ethical journalism. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm here to lay the facts straight. We went to Scotland for a summit, and we had letters to even the first Prime Minister of Scotland as far back as maybe 3 months before that summit, and even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs about 4 months before then. So to say in 2 days people were assembled, that's not true. Investors came to the summit, and the role of the Edo State Diaspora Agency, one of our mandates and terms of reference, is actually to bridge the gap between the state and her people and getting investors for economic growth. And annually, the Edo State Global Investment Summit is going to be happening, the first of which was in Scotland. One of the investors that came in happens to be the European African Chamber of Commerce and Industries. And during that hybrid event, their Director General logged in on Zoom. and he stated what he represents, the body he represents, and what attracted them to Edo State, the natural and earth reserves.
Well, he's from Edo State.
He's from Edo
Right.
State, and the large expanse of land as well, and that desire to make the world a better place as far as they are concerned. Interestingly, the European African Chamber of Commerce and Industries is an assemblage of chambers of commerces across Europe and Africa.
But African chambers
Yes.
of commerce that are in Europe.
Yes.
That's what raises question marks, because anybody can go into their backyard and say they've got a chamber of commerce. The question is whether you, as a government, authenticated that group and assessed their capacity to come up with $250 million.
So, interestingly, this is a group that has been working across different countries, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and even in Nigeria with apparatus and different agencies in Nigeria as well. I'm not at liberty to mention
Well,
the
I mean,
sums.
I don't mean to interrupt you,
but
but we actually took a look, and we didn't quite see anything that they were. I mean, we saw places where he was made the chairman of, some farmers association or something or other, but we didn't see any evidence of I mean, if somebody is talking about $250 million of investments, you expect to see considerable assets along with that organization and places where they've put their money. That's what's raising questions. It's not just politics. It's people wanting to be sure that they're not being had.
And it is important that people actually do their verification. For us, we saw a track record. They have investments with the Navy ongoing, but I'm not at liberty to even mention how much that is. And they also do have investments in Ghana. Now, interestingly, they logged in on Zoom, and I know that they do have an advisory council as well, which is made up of Chamber of Commerce's people from these different countries, and a board of directors. Now, they had a meeting from what the gentleman, the Director General, actually announced on Zoom, and said that they had decided at their board of trustee meeting to actually invest in Edo State. And he stated the sectors on the day. He talked about mining, talked about agriculture, talked about education and human capacity building, amongst others. And then actually announced their intention to come into Edo State with $250 million worth of investment.
Right. Well, can I clarify something? Because you were obviously there.
Oh, yes.
When he said that, was he saying that they were going to go out and try and attract $250 million, or that they have $250 million that they're going to put into Edo State? Okay. Because it's one thing to say, I'm going to go look around and I'm going to attempt to find $250 million.
This is a very germane question, because after the summit, and just to round up on that, there were other investors who are also, and as I speak to you, you have Astrid and her team who are already in Benin on the back of that conference, as well as VG Energies who are investing millions of dollars as well, just to put that out there.
As a result of your
Yes,
summit.
yes. NCDF, the Nigerian Capital Development Fund Group, similar thing. They are doing projects in Edo Central, Edo North, and of course, Edo South.
What are they doing?
So they are doing, they're starting off with housing in Edo State, affordable housing for Edo State people.
No, what I'm trying to understand, are you saying that all this happened within, because I mean your summit took place 2 weeks ago.
That's the
You're saying that within 2 weeks, these people have mobilized to your state and are now pouring millions of dollars in there?
It is interesting.
Well, you must be a real charmer.
Well,
I'd like to hire you.
Well, as Nigerians, they talk God factor join. So after that, immediately after that summit, we had, because we had to move into action, we had a discussion with the Director General of the European African CCI and members of his team. And he was, and our team, because the governor at that point in time had now delegated that the SSG leads the team. Our team actually then decided, what do we do next? And of course, it was to have this mutual agreement of intent, a memorandum of understanding, which, I mean, as everybody would know, it's not a legally binding document, but it's something that is going to direct how we think and our goals. And we all sat down and discussed, and at the end of the day, they told us that they were going to bring these monies in trenches over about 3 to 5 years.
Right.
And that they actually have local implementation partners, Charles. And when we actually even checked on the day, we found that 3 of their local implementation partners are already in Edo State.
Right.
And had been inaugurated with certificates in public space. So we actually signed an MOU, and that was signed, completed on the 23rd.
So let's be clear that what was signed was a memorandum of understanding, not a commitment to invest. An MOU is a non-binding agreement that expresses an intention to work together. So in that regard, was it right for the Edo State government to say that it has secured an investment deal of $250 million?
Well,
I mean, it was quite categorical.
I think it's a matter of semantics in this case and what people would want to believe or what people know about investment procedures. Investment procedures, you will first have your MOU signed, the parties will come together, they will draw the nitty-gritty of the contracts, and then they have room for flexibility because of the way MOUs are, and then contracts are signed. So they have already indicated that they even have the first tranche of money to come into Edo State. And this is where I think we'll have to get people to be a bit more patient. They are going to come with their team. We don't expect people to start doing their projects the next day after they make an announcement. I mean, you know that. So I believe as well, because I was quite taken aback when people were saying the emails didn't go, and we sent them emails, we sent them invitations, and we got reply back. So, I mean, I don't think that development should be colorated or should be partisan. I believe development should add value to human life, and development should actually be humane. And that's what the Edo State Diaspora Agency actually stands for.
Yeah, but the point, of course, is that, you know, people have a right to know what their government is purporting to, you know, is telling them that it's doing, and also to know that, you know, that there is there's authenticity and integrity and above boardness in everything that is being done.
And that is very important.
And people, I mean, in today's world of information explosion, you can look up anybody, you can you know, do your own investigation, and a lot of people did their investigations, including independent journalists.
Yes.
I mean, and what they came up with, many of them said they didn't have any ulterior motive. What they came up with simply made them feel that maybe these people are not what they're cracking themselves up to be, and not so much maliciously against the government, but actually to help the government by saying, wait a minute, go back and re-examine this thing, because these guys could, you know, leap up and bite you in the bottom.
And Charles, I did say in the very beginning that it's important. It's all about the Edo State people. So it's important that they check, and we are pleased with that.
Right.
But again, I was there. I was a part of the process, and I'm glad we are flashing this MOU now on the screen for people to see. Because saying there was no MOU, it's preposterous. And again...
No, they didn't say there was no MOU. They said there was no... The government statement said that an investment deal had been reached for this group to bring $250 million and invest in Edo State.
But Charles, that's what they say they are bringing. They are bringing $250 million as far as they've said it. So that we will wait, and we will welcome this team. In fact, we will invite Arise when they are coming in, because at that point, it all needs, especially on the back of what has happened, it all needs to be televised, even live if possible.
Right. So basically, the allegation that Mr. Isibo made, that Governor Ogboro and his aides were in Scotland on vacation, and that there was no $250 million investment deal, that is not, from your point of view, accurate.
not just from my point of view, from the facts available by the organizers, which is myself and the local organizing team on ground, which was led by Evangelist Gladys Osamoyime Ogbeide, that is not true.
Right.
The Nigerian, the acting Nigerian High Commissioner in the UK was at this event. The governor was received at the train station on day 1, and then the second day he had a cultural meet and greet with his people as a man who cares for his people. And the third day, the investors all came in, sat around the tables. There were engagements, and a lot of things is happening on the back of that.
Right. What I don't understand is, I mean, I looked at the images. I mean, the sort of the video that you put together and so on. I mean, I didn't really see any international. I just saw Nigerians there. I mean, I saw one or two sort of, you know, slightly bleary-eyed Westerners. You see what I mean?
Bleary-eyed?
But well, I mean, they seemed a little bit out of sorts there.
Okay.
I don't know, because obviously I wasn't there. I'm just saying the image that came across. I mean,
yes.
But it was simply dominated. It's like one of these things that people go to, and then you just find you sort of, you know, Nigerians all over the place.
Well, interestingly, Charles, it depends on the day you look at. If you look at videos from the very first...
Well, I looked at everything you sent to me.
Excellent.
And
the cultural
I'm
day,
talking about what I saw.
There were more Nigerians, because that was the cultural day anyway, but there were also other people. And then if you move on to the summit day, there were other people. There was a blend in the hall.
I saw
but interestingly, I think we shouldn't have some colonial mentality or the coloration of development, like I said. Because Americans are investing in America. Britons are investing in Britain.
True.
Why should Nigerians not invest in
Yes,
Nigeria?
that is
Why
true.
should Edo State sons and daughters not invest in Edo State if they have the capacity to do that?
Yeah, but then you make it clear that that is what you went to look for Nigeria. Because when you say you're going abroad with a whole team of people to go and attract foreign investment,
yes.
I mean, people are thinking, well, you know, they're going to sort of, you know, attract big companies that are established overseas to come and invest in Nigeria.
From
and all
you,
the rest of
are you saying that Nigerians don't have big companies abroad?
I am not. What I'm saying is that you need to be categorical and clear on who it is you set out to go, because people have to wonder why in those circumstances you had to travel abroad. That's why the PDP is saying that the governor and his aides went on vacation in Scotland.
Well, to be clear, this event was a registered event on Eventbrite and via web pages. So people were at liberty to register. And the Scottish African Business Association was there, and they were represented by Fraser Lang. And you also had the Voice Aid and people who traveled from Germany. And we also had people from Australia. Now, the coloration of the room should in no way impact on development.
Yeah.
I think these are optics that retard development. I didn't control who and who went online to go and register, Charles. I didn't control
I
that.
understand that.
Neither did the people who organized this. So I think this is also something very positive for us as a state and for us as a country. I'm quite impressed now. Now you say it, looking at that hall.
Well, you would be, wouldn't
yes,
you? It's your thing.
Nigerians, well, apart from it being my team, Nigerians are controlling a lot of economic, should I say, proportions in countries where they find themselves, and importantly, even at those state people.
Right.
But there were foreigners in that hall.
Yeah, but when you look back at that investment summit that you organized in Scotland,
yes.
What would you say that it achieved? Because it sounds like the only tangible thing to emerge from it was that MOU with Your Africa CCI.
Well, you see, again...
And I mean tangible
Yes,
things,
again,
right?
this is how the mind works, and this is the way media sort of hypes things. And I just made it clear, sir, that at that summit, we had the Voice Aid Association. And the Voice Aid Association is led by Astrid Arendt, who used to be a senator in Germany and was responsible for their small and medium scale enterprise. Now, what is most beautiful about this is the fact that she has about 15 other investors with her in her team, and they are all Fortune 500 individuals. As I speak to you now, in Edo State, the governor received them on Friday. While some people were busy just making noise, the governor was working, receiving these people. And today, as I speak, he's having a meeting with them again. And they are coming into Edo State in areas of renewable energy, capacity building, education. All of the, I think the last 48 hours, they were in a farm in the Uzare axis of Edo State, where there was no network. I'm talking of 4,500 company individuals, all behind it. So Edo State, in less than 2 weeks, we are already seeing the dividends. Today they were with the Commissioner of Water and Natural Resources in Edo State. And I think, was it on the 3rd, we actually had them imputing into the vocational education of Edo State, and the Board of Technical and Vocational Education, goodness, Briggs, was with them. So it is a marathon, not a sprint. But
Indeed.
even at that, right now, we are really pleased at the engagement that the state is getting. That must count for something for the Senator Monday Ogboro-Okor-led government and for those who organized this summit. So let people please look beyond partisanness and let them understand that development and economic movement has no color. If Edo State schools are working, PDP children would attend it. Children of Labour Party chieftains would attend it. So let's move our state forward.
Right, but let me ask you this. Why Scotland in the far north of the UK? I mean, I know a lot about Scotland. I lived in Scotland. I mean, I was born in Scotland, so I know the country. I mean, there isn't that much going on there in terms of investment interest internationally. I mean, in all fairness, what many people go there for is either vacation or education. So why Glasgow in Scotland and not, for instance, London, which is the capital of the UK and which is much more likely to attract outward-facing international investors?
All right, so let's break this answer down into two factors. One, the people of Edo State factor, and two, economic factors.
Right.
Now, for the people of Edo State factor, the governor is the governor of all of Edo State. And when we came on board as Edo State Diaspora Agency about 6 months ago, the first thing we did was to pool. We had pools, and then the people were saying that successive governments in Edo State have often gone to popular destinations and abandoned Edo State people in other locales, i.e., places like, if you say Scotland, places like Germany, and in those other parts of Europe that they don't even speak English. One thing they said is it because we don't speak English? So we have scientific evidence for that. Now, coming on to the economic factors, we need to know that for a long time, the history of Scotland has been closely intertwined with that of Nigeria and by extension Edo State. Mary Slessor stopped the killing of twins. She was from Scotland. Yeah. And of course, you need to realize that oil and gas.
What's that got to do with investment in the 21st
It does.
century?
If you kill all the twin investors, what will happen? Anyway, coming to the 21st century, oil and gas. Aberdeen in Scotland is one of the top-notch places for oil and gas. And Edo State has a lot of gas deposits, especially in Orion and some sides of Gilly. Now, what happened over the years before was that when we had wells in Edo State, a lot of them got abandoned because there was more gas than oil. But now Scotland has perfected gas technology.
And how many oil and gas companies were at that summit?
VG Energies, as I speak to you, their CEO is in Benin with the governor of Edo State. VG Energies was there. And cloning in science and, of course, in education. Dolly the sheep was cloned in Scotland, you know that.
But that's...
And the schools in Scotland, we got a bilateral engagement with the University of the West of Scotland. That counts for something. Trident is in Scotland. The UK nuclear head. So if you want a people that will get their hands dirty and come and do the work in your country, go to Scotland. But if you want all the hype, all the razzmatazz, stay in London. And of course, the people in Scotland wanted to also see their governor.
On that note, I want to thank you very much indeed. And you have got your right of reply. She is, of course, the pioneer Director General of the Edo State Diaspora Agency, Dr. Loretta Ogboro-Okor, and she organized that Edo State Investment Summit in Scotland. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, sir.